Good afternoon, YouTube. This is Veteran Mountain Man, and I'm coming with you today to talk about yet again another example of the cultural Marxism, critical race theory, critical theory insanity. So this week, the Portland Metro City Council, under its mayor, Ted Wheeler, held a vote. That vote was to create a new category of action that the board could take to silence people who were interrupting city council meetings by ejecting them from the meeting. Now, this whole concept started because back in January, Black Lives Matter Portland, Antifa Portland, Hands Up Don't Shoot Portland, and the Portland Feminist Movement started invading Portland Metro City Council meetings right after Mayor Ted Wheeler was sworn into office. And they would enter and interrupt and demand Mayor Wheeler resign. Mayor Ted Wheeler, Democrat. A man who supported PDX Don't Shoot and Black Lives Matter and the Portland Feminist Movement. And all of them voted for him. He got almost as many votes as any previous Democrat mayor in the past 20 years in the city of Portland. And now, less than 3 months after swearing in, they have every week interrupted the council meeting, demanding he resign. Does anyone else see the insanity in this situation? Well, the item was approved. It was originally brought up March 8th because, once again, Don't Shoot PDX stormed into the council meeting demanding to be heard and demanding that Mayor Wheeler resign. And there was no way to try to get on with city council business. Instead, these interruptions just continued to shut down city council public meetings, which are mandated by the city's charter. So, this is another example of the cultural Marxist movement to repressive tolerance. For those of you who are new to my channel, repressive tolerance was a theory created by John McHughes, a member of the Frankfurt School. It was his section of a critique of pure tolerance, which spawned the theory of repressive tolerance, and he actually published a dissertation on it, which has been peer-reviewed all over the internet. This was back when he was teaching in UC Berkeley in the 1940s, 50s, and 60s. He later returned to Germany in the 1970s and has subsequently passed, but he inspired people like Saul Lewinsky and many other modern cultural Marxists by his teaching at UC Berkeley. Also, he was part of the Free Speech Berkeley movement and had supported his students into pushing that movement through the use of his famous tactic, repressive tolerance, which is where you are intolerant to those who have pure tolerance to create a situation that favors your agenda, which by definition is tolerant because you're the Marxist. Now, the shorthand for this effect is called no free speech for Nazis. But that's not commonly talked about anymore because that's why the left has been calling everybody Nazis lately. And nobody wants to go back and look at the basis for that concept. Anyhow, this interruption set has made it all over the news here in the Portland metro area. And many people are yelling that this is censorship on a grand scale. Well, something I have to say is, you're not guaranteed an audience. They're not banning you from peacefully assembling outside the council chambers. They're not even kicking you out of City Hall under this statute. You are to be removed from the city council chambers and let go. You're not allowed to re-enter for 24 hours. You're not even being banned permanently. Now, there is a provision for multiple offenders to be banned for up to 1 year, but it's not going into effect because they are checking on the constitutionality of it. Previous attempts had included things such as a 1-year ban from the city council in its entirety, a lifetime ban for repeated offenses, things of that nature. Many of these statutes were shot down several years ago as unconstitutional by activist judges. Do I agree with those judgments? Well, I think a permanent ban from a city council for a single instance of disruption would be bad. And I think that would be censorship of free speech. I also think that ejecting somebody who is not willing to have a constructive argument, but instead will do nothing but yell at the council members while they are trying to do business, is a necessary step. They are allowed to come back and have discourse if they want after 24 hours, after their head's cooled off. But they've got to realize that they're not given a right to an audience. And if they want to express themselves in a public forum where there is public business being done, they need to behave like adults and not like children. So I think that this statute may be a good thing. Now, do I want to see one permanent ban for repeated offenses? No. That is totalitarianism and needs to be done away with. And do I think that we need to be very, very, very careful with what the idea of disruptive behavior is? Why, yes. Because me standing up and asking a question, if that's constituted as disruptive behavior, has become totalitarianism. If I'm standing there shouting down anything anybody else says without regard to what they're talking about or any proper decorum, that is completely different. Well, thank you all again for joining me today. I'm going to leave a link to several news organizations who have discussed this whole proposition and what's going on. I'll also include a link to my Minds.com account, which is minds.com/veteran mountain man. If you'd like to discuss it there, please come on over, post on my feed, and we'll sit down and have a nice long discussion about it. Alternatively, if you don't want to join me at Minds, you can post a comment below, and I will respond as soon as I get a notice on it, usually within the first 24 hours, but who knows? It'll depend on my schedule. And if you like what I'm doing here, please like, subscribe, and share this video. Thank you all again, and have a great day.